Zingling and salutations, everyone. My name is Insanity. And I'm Bob. And we are here today to talk about a little bit of something or other and stuff and things, and mostly going to be doing another Memoir of Madness. Don't remember the last one I'm alone. It'll be added in right here. But basically, Memoirs of Madness, if you don't remember, is just me going through the insanity that is my life on constant kind of things. And today, I thought to talk a little bit about one of the more, how would you call it?
Reoccurring hallucinations?
Yes, that's it, reoccurring hallucinations. Mermaids were not always thought of as beautiful creatures, and in certain circles they still aren't. They're not Alice from the Little Mermaid. Is it Alice? I don't remember. Once again, I'll input it here. But basically, a lot of things talk about mermaids being more either monsters luring people to their deaths. But there's one specific one that has latched onto my mind and has come back in those hallucinations a lot. And what it is mermaids do not breed. They use their song to entice girls to come into the water, and they steal them away and turn them into mermaids. While men is basically their food source. And God, I've had this reoccurring hallucination over and over again, and it's continuation. It's basically one of those hallucinations that lasts an entire lifetime, and it's changed in some ways and it's changed in others, but there's always a constant, and that constant is the mermaid who, apparently due to my insanity, her siren call doesn't work on moi, and that really pisses her off. But due to the fact that I am crazy and hear stuff, I get into basically two horrific altercations with her. The first one's when I'm much younger, and then they tell me like, you were just a child, your brain's trying to deal with this. And the second one's when I'm more in my 20s, and it really just kind of, the realization of, oh shit. So of course I move away from the ocean, can't really go into pools. But anytime there's water, like just a setting pool of water, I hear her song.
Even on the toilet?
Sometimes. Not when I'm sitting on it. Not when I'm using it, but you can hear it from the bathroom. And you just like, when you're in bed and you just hear the... and other shit like that. In a much more feminine voice. And the problem is that slowly, being that afraid of something, I've been that afraid of something before. Spiders, like to the point that I couldn't go to sleep at night. Because I was like, what if there's a spider nearby? But luckily it wasn't full on arachnophobia, it was just more so the hallucinations kind of messing with me. And I eventually got over it. But so in this dream and hallucinations, actually also in the dreams, which is weird. I very rarely have ones that cross over. Not a whole lot in the dream aspect. But, and it's interesting because the three main points that always stay there is mermaid, and it's a female friend of mine who is basically, when we're in the young situation, we are out snorkeling or whatever in the dead island, beautiful place, kind of like, God, I wish I lived there all life. And what ends up happening is she gets yanked down, and of course we're kind of off by ourselves, just having fun. And I'm the one who ends up seeing, and what the fuck? There's a giant fish thing pulling her down, and I think her bright red flowing hair is blood. For a second, and I go down and I end up getting her and pulling her back, and of course then I notice, I was like, oh God, it's a mermaid. Albino, white, beautiful, glowing green eyes, red hair, very angry looking.
Well, you did just steal away your quota.
Yeah, basically, I stole away. Because that's one thing I learned about through all of this, because through the multiple times I had this hallucination, I end up figuring out little things, and like it's at a certain point, it's a coming of age thing where they must bring back someone to be turned into a mermaid. And because of me, she doesn't get that. So she slowly goes a little bit mad and then she tries to sing and is like, didn't do shit. Which, of course, really bothers a mermaid, because if a mermaid song doesn't do anything to a man, kind of a failure as of a mermaid, don't you think? So not only did I steal away her right, her like the thing that was gonna have her do her rite of passage, but also I wasn't affected by her song. So she got pissed. And the whole thing is like I didn't, in the hallucinations and all, I don't go back to the water for a while, but everyone tells you it's not a mermaid. It was a shark or something. And I just chalk it up to being, okay, I was a kid. My brain don't work so well exactly. So that's what ended up happening. But give me a second, I gotta close the door. So basically, long and behold, many, many years later, I'm in my usually between late teens, early 20s, and always sexual around these areas, and the biggest one is it always becomes really sexual, and there's always another girl there. It's me, the one female friend, and another girl, but usually there's actually two, and it's just kind of two other girls, and so on and so forth, sex, all that kind of stuff. Not really giving a shit, it's just kind of fun. We still live down by that beautiful beach area, and it's just more fun than anything, so we go out on a boat. And, over this period of time, I'm still crazy in this hallucination. I still hear that song randomly, and I just sit there and psychiatrists and all, they chalked it up to that horrible, traumatizing experience. And what ends up happening is it took me a while to get back in the water, and then finally when we go there, we're all out there, we're on the boat, we're out there swimming, and then one of the girls that, very much more promiscuous one, who is far more just, she's living life kind of person. She's the first one in the water, all that kind of having fun. And then suddenly, boop, little Jaws moment. And it's like, what? What the fuck? And of course, originally it happened so quickly, you kind of think she's just gonna pop up and scare you or whatever. And then the bloody bubbles. And then the pop up and then the scream. And of course, my immediate instinct in this situation is like, oh fuck! Well, gotta go get her.
You say that, it's so casual, like.
Well, that's my main thought. It's like, oh shit, gotta go help her. That's basically my mental aspect in all those kind of situations. See someone in danger, it's like, shit! Guess I gotta do something about this.
Unless they're like 5 people and they have guns.
Unless I have a gun! And then I'll just start aiming for heads. But, so yeah, I swim over there, try to get to her, and she gets yanked down again, and I look down, and I get in the water and look down, and oh boy! Guess who is staring back up at me? A good old mermaid that gave me the horrific trauma. So of course, I just go like, huh. I freeze up, and she's pretty pissed at the promiscuous girl. I bet you can guess why. Since I said things turn sexual and all that stuff. Because over time, the mermaid slowly became crazed. Because it's that whole thing of a woman or a man whose charms are completely spit on. They can get anyone they want. Except this person. And the person, of course, I'm not a fat, ugly bastard or anything like that. I'm not the tippity top, but in that hallucination, yeah, I'm basically how I was back in high school. I'm thin, toned, and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the belly I have now. But, and it's more along the lines of, it's like I humiliated her without, like, I took from her rite of passage again and didn't get affected by her song, so she slowly became infatuated. She slowly became crazed, like, obsessed, then infatuated, then full kind of yandere-ish, I don't know. What ended up happening, of course, this one girl who, she somehow knows about this. I think she can get into my head with the song and see dreams or whatever, or see moments of my life, because she somehow seems to know that the one girl has had a lot of time with me. And she's pissed. And as we go down, I suddenly snap out of it, see her reach up for me, and I try to zoom after her. And as I go, I notice things are missing in the blood cloud. I notice up to here is missing on a leg. Big gash marks. Basically, she's very, very pissed off and wants to make the poor girl suffer, and I end up grabbing her, and because I'm trying to pull her back, and I'm like, oh, get her, same thing as last time. Whoosh. She made sure that wasn't going to happen, and took the arm. And she made sure I wasn't going to be able to get this girl back, and whoosh, lopped off the arm. And then she just disappears in the cloud of blood, and I end up having to resurface. And I've got this arm, and I've got her arm in my hand, and then suddenly it's that realization, it's like, oh God. Everyone freaks the fuck out. And then the whole thing is like, everyone else is freaking, like, the other two girls are freaking the fuck out. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And then they see the red bubbles and all that. Then they just see under the water, just basically under, they see the shape of the mermaid swimming around with something she's pulling. And it's that kind of moment where you realize what it is. It's not a shark or anything like that, but it's and it's kind of creepy because she swims towards me, and that's when I freak the fuck out, like, oh God, no! And start swimming for my life. Of course you can't outrun a mermaid. Outswim a mermaid. And she gets me and yanks me down and speaks to me somehow through the water and all that kind of stuff. Using she can talk better, I don't know what it is. But basically through mind almost. And tells me how I'm hers. And how no matter where I go, she will find me. And that she was going to make an example out of this one. And that she would see me next time, and then just gave me a peck on the cheek and then swam away with the one female friend still bleeding to death. Somehow hasn't bled to death at this point. Deep into the depths, and the last thing I see is the one girl just trying to get a hold of me. And so the one girl who was my friend, she remembers this. She remembers seeing that, and now suddenly she comes to realize, like, oh fuck! And then the new girl was like, what the fuck? And that's where I'm going to end this part of the story, just because I'm going to keep ranting and raving. This will be for the next in the Memoirs of Madness. But anyway, if you like my little spiels, I'm putting more gameplay footage. I've had some real problems getting the recordings to work, so I've streamed a little bit, and now I'm in class every day. But I'm trying to get that all set up and blah, blah, blah. I mostly do it over the weekends and then set that up. But if you want to see more insanity, check out that one and subscribe for more. Well,
Insanity!